and just waiting for Danny to pick a first move. He obviously knows how important the first move is. And he's going to jump on in with d4, carelessly allowing me to play a Dutch. But he's going to go for a Staunton Gambit. Good stuff. Going for maximum excitement, offering me a pawn early on. But let's see how much theory he knows here. So Queen d4 is the old main line. And I think I played e5 against him once before, so I'm going to try c6 instead. Personally, I don't think it's as good a move as e5, which I tend to think equalises straight away. But e5 does swap the queens off and lead to slightly dull positions. And that's not what we're after at all. We're after maximum excitement. So that is what we're going to be having. At least I hope so. So I'm not really going to be able to hold on to the pawn for very long here, unless I try f5. But f5, he's got all kind of fun things to do against that. I wonder. f5, g4, c5? I don't know if this is legitimate. I don't know. Kind of looks like fun. Danny, what have you got here? What have you got for me? It's probably got some rather good things up his sleeve, but we'll find out. He's going to be just taking off there, and then bishop c4, threatening a nice little bishop takes f7. But could I just go for a big pawn centre with e5? Well, I don't see why not. So I might have to move my king a couple of times. That never hurt anyone. Maybe. Queen d2. That's probably very sensible. But at the moment my opponent's having all of the fun. So I'm going to put a rook on a half-open file and see what happens. I know he's got tricks like knight e4 here, but at the very least I can take on d2 and go d5 at the end with a really very, very pleasant position at the end of it. Well, knight e4 is what he's played. Do I have something better here? I'd like to play some move that threatens mate. Just going to need to analyse for a couple of seconds. Bishop b4. He's got moves. He can take on f7 and play knight g5 check. That's irritating. So I can't actually win in this position straight away. So I'm going to have to go for the backup option, which I said was safe. But now we're going to have a position with equal material, but I'm going to have this massive pawn centre in the centre of the board. Yeah, it is equal material. It's not enough for me to have a winning position straight away, but it's kind of promising, I hope. Oh really, you can play that? I wasn't so sure he could play this. h5, I've got king f6. Knight d4, I think I have c5. So... Oh, and then he can play c4 and try and hold things together in that way. Sorry, c5, you can play knight b3. So let's just go h6 and force him back. It's not going to come to f4, isn't it? Okay, so I'll just go bishop e5 to stop that. And then bishop back to f6. And it's kind of quite positional so far. I've got a very pleasant looking position. But this is... I mean, exactly as we'd expect playing Danny. I think the quality of the game is a lot higher. He's certainly forced me to raise my level a little bit here. But as we both drop below a minute on the clock, things are going to get interesting, that's for sure. I'm trying to speed up my play. Switching over to the king side. I couldn't think what it was called for a second. I suddenly realised that I'm threatening c5, or I can play c5 at any moment and his knight's trapped. I think he's noticed that as well, which is why he went into a bit of a thought there, and then he instantly sacrificed. Well, not sacrificed, it was the only thing he could do. But this should be winning for me now. I need to show you a little bit of technique perhaps, but hopefully not too much, because technique is never my strong point at this stage, especially after a couple of hours of playing. But more importantly, I've got, well, not more importantly, but importantly, I'm up on the clock, which makes it normally makes the conversion rather easier. So he's going to have to give up a rook if he wants to stop me from promoting there, and the ending is obviously very, very trivial. So I do manage to take a 1-0 lead in this blitz matchup against Daniel. Okay, let's see what he's going to do now. What opening is he going to play? He's going to play a Sicilian. So let's go for a big clump, 2d3 and f4. I've played too many Grand Prix attacks against him, so I'll just do something a little bit different. Obviously it's quite a hacky line that I'm playing here, designed to go f5 later on. My opponent's doing something very sensible, which is going for a quick queenside pressure. So I'm actually going to be switching into some kind of central play for the time being, but there's no doubt that black has equalised so far. But if he goes knight f5, I can retreat this bishop back to g1. It's a useful reason for playing king h1. The main point was just to get out of any kind of big checks and that kind of stuff. But can I go g4 here? g4, knight c2, queen c1, maybe. I'd probably be better advised to do anything else. I'm just not sure what anything else is right now. I don't know. I'm going to play G. Where to go with the queen after knight c2 is a really complicated question. Let's go to b1. And then move the rook to c1 here. Man, this is quite complicated. If he takes on a1, the whole point is I'm trying to get 2 pieces for the rook because his knight's going to be trapped. It's very, very tricky. Glad that this is a 3-minute game and not a 1-minute game. This is way too complicated. But I think I'm getting 2 pieces for the rook. We will find out in a minute. Oh, he's got this trick. Whatever this trick is. It's something. I mean, I can always go a4 to protect this bishop. I think I'm still going to get 2 pieces for the rook here. And he's got knight a3 as well, and then I just go queen d3. And then bishop takes e3. And this should all be good for white, and I can get back to going f5. But I am at the moment a few seconds down on the clock. No increment at all in these games, so you just have the time that the 3 minutes that you start the game with. That is it. Oh, Danny's typing on Turbulent Chess. That's not true, Danny. Oh, actually, I typed that it is true. It's not true, Danny. You're not terrible at chess. It's just a bad couple of games. Let's go with a French. Let's see if Danny wants to play a French exchange. No, he's too much of a man for that kind of stuff. We'll see a winner. And let's see what's going on here. I'm playing bishop a5, the Armenian variation. Because I remember playing Danny in a 1-minute game and him not saying that he couldn't remember what the theory was to this. I see. I do watch your bullet rules, which are over on YouTube on Chess.com's YouTube channel. I think I was supposed to play knight c6. I mean, there's multiple ways to play this line as black, but I was just trying to remember the best and most accurate ways of doing it. But let's just see what's going on here. Gonna be trying to hang on to this pawn for a couple. Oh, I've not really done it very well, but okay. Maybe if I put a knight on g4, that will be annoying. I kind of think this is a little bit better for white. I knew that there was a reason that I'd given up playing this way as black. Why didn't I just play 3 knight f6? Only occurs to me much, much later. Three knight f6 is the opening that I've been trying to look at a little bit more recently. It's a bit more solid than the winner were. I don't really see how I can hold on to this extra pawn. So I'd better try and secure the knight on g4 for the time being. And the fact that I get to play h5 is always a bonus. And now g6, just to keep everything lovely and solid on this side of the board. But it's not going to remain solid for very long, as my opponent's cunningly opening up the centre of the board. Exactly what he should be doing. Interesting. Takes on d4, knight takes d4, knight takes e5. Looks complicated, but I have a feeling that it's going to be bad for me. Just going to castle. I need to get my king to safety at some stage. But I'm not really liking my position right now. Fortunately, I'm temporarily a pawn up. He's going to win one of the 2 pawns back. I can't really afford to let him pick up the c4 pawn as well. Oh, what? The a6 pawn? I didn't even realise the a6 pawn was a thing. Well, you know. Danny might be getting on the scoreboard here. But having said that, queen h4 doesn't really do anything after g3. Oh, there must be some tricks here. There must be some tricks. Well, queen h4, g3, queen h3, because he can't go queen g2 because of takes and knight e3. So that's a starting point. Come on, Danny, play g3. Oh, he's considering going knight f3, I see. Oh, he's calculating. But knight f3, I'm going to go queen f2 rather than knight f2 check. He's spending a long time deciding between g3 and knight f3. Danny, just move. Yeah, there we go. Is my queen getting trapped here? Oh, that's probably what he was calculating. Danny. What to do? I don't have any good defense to anything here. I'll let him play knight g1. Or knight g5, that's good enough as well. Trying to think what we're going to make this a best of. Probably a best of 7, I'll suggest. I don't know if my producer can hear that and let Danny know. Actually, I'm just going to say that to him in chat. Cool, he says sure. So, alright, let's go with 2b3. This is my latest winning attempt against the Sicilian. I'm pretty certain it wins by force, but I'm open to the suggestion that it doesn't. Got these ideas of a quick knight d5, and sometimes it gets all positional and stuff, but you know. But the real idea is that you can still play something that looks a little bit like what was I trying to think of? A Grand Prix attack. But it's just via some slightly weird move orders and so on. What's going on in this position? I don't know. It's kind of fun. Let's go knight h3. And just maybe put the knight on g5 at some moment. I think I might be castling kingside here. Originally I was intending to castle queenside, but kind of thought that that's annoying. Do I really have to play queen takes, pawn takes here? Looks like I do, otherwise the e4 pawn's going to drop. But you know, I've got the two bishops, and if the two bishops is worth a pawn, or 3 pawns, or 2 pawns, then it's sure worth me doubling these pawns up. Maybe f5 is premature here, but I was kind of brought up to think that f5 was never premature, in what the Eastern Europeans would laughingly call the English school of chess, which is, well, I haven't learned how to play endings, I'd better go for checkmate. And Danny seems to be trying to play some kind of positional game, which is kind of upsetting me. He wants to go b4 and force me to give up the bishop to the knight. But first he tries a cheapo with c4 check. Good on you, Danny. But I did see that one coming. And then he goes b4. But now you see, the advantage of me having these double pawns is that I can play h4 twice. I can go h4, h5, take on g6, and then h4, h5 again. Danny didn't think of that. Yeah. Everyone will be rushing to get doubled pawns now that they've realised the benefit of being able to push them multiple times. I've just got this plan. I've got a half-open g file for my rook. Can put this bishop on c4 perhaps, but mainly it's all about going h4, h5. His bishop is irritatingly stopping me from playing h4, so I might have to go rook rook g4 here first. But I'm surprised at how quickly I'm playing. It's almost certainly because I was playing lots of 1-minute chess before. Okay, what's my opponent's idea here? He wants to bring his queen into the game. Sure. Bring your queen back into the game, but in the meantime I will happily take the extra pawn and play this rook g4 move and just continue to aim for this pressure. Double up on the g line. Just really waiting to see where Danny's counterplay is coming from here. He is down to less than a minute on the clock, and in rather against the run of form, I have a minute 43 left here, so I'm doing absolutely fine on the clock. Can I take on d5? Queen takes rook g8. No, I can't. Okay, I was just trying some kind of cheap tactic, but it doesn't work here. So I'm going to hold on to my pieces for the time being. But yeah, could just take twice, but it's not very exciting. H takes, rook g8, h4, h6, queen f4. Is that good? Let's go for that. Well, he's just let me go g5, and his idea was this. Queen h3 takes on g5, takes f6. Does that win? Queen h3 takes on g5, f6, takes. Well, let's see what happens. Maybe he'll do something irritating like queen f2 here. God, I hope he's not tuning into the stream. Queen f2, maybe I've got queen h5. Can I just play f6 here? And rook takes g5. Well, it looks like I'm coming out of this with an extra piece. And with only 14 seconds left on the clock, Danny resigns. I'm pretty certain the ending's comfortable enough. I could go Queen G4 and take this pawn off, for example. So we're going to go into a rematch, and Danny is going to have to come from behind now. 3-1 down in best of 7, first of 4. Let's try playing a Sicilian, see what happens. Play this grievous Queen B6 variation. See if I can remember some theory. Always a nice little challenge. Drop the queen back to C7. Danny's trying an early something with G4. Probably it's better to wait until he's gone bishop E2 before doing that. But I don't know. Well, it might be that what he's doing is perfectly reasonable. It's certainly a lot of fun, and we appreciate that. We always appreciate entertaining chess. How am I going to go around trying to ruin his day? Well, I suppose I should take the pawn back on H5, because why not? Tax another pawn on H2. I'm not averse to just grabbing material if it looks particularly on pre. Okay, so he wants to go for a quick castles queenside, probably a good decision. But I don't want to let him do that. I want to be able to attack if he castles queenside, so I'm going to go A5 and see how that affects things. He goes A4, so it should be a little bit more difficult for him now to get away with that kind of play. So now I'm going to take on H2. Shamelessly go a pawn up. Take on C3. And now could I come up with something interesting? Or something solid? Or some way of developing my pieces actually? That's kind of more of an issue than I was hoping. This bishop on C8 in particular is just sitting at home doing nothing at all. But we'll see if we can get around that. Lots and lots of play in this game. I'm going to try and force the exchange of queens off because I like the fact that I'm the pawn up. Okay, I've forced him to exchange the rooks instead. Not quite as big a success, but I'm still a pawn up. If I can just develop this bishop to some sensible square, then everything will be fine. I'll also continue trying to move a bit faster than Danny, if I can. What about if I give the pawn back with B6 and rook B8? Well, it's an idea. Oh, he doesn't want it. He just wants... I'm getting the sense that Danny wants to mate me. So I'm going to have to watch this long diagonal like a hawk. If he gets his queen into D6 or something like that, bad things will be happening. So, meantime, I'm going to get the bishop on onto B7, get the bishop into the game. Oh, and now this is dropping. So I'll go rook B8, make it less pleasant for him to take that off. So if I take on F3, he's going to go Queen C5. This is his point, threatening mate on F8. So I'll go bishop back to A8 first. Because now Queen C5 I can just take it off and be a bit better in the ending. Queen here. So I've set a trap. If he takes on E5 and plays bishop D6, well, there's no trap at all actually. Well, I just have to play knight takes D3 or something. For some reason I thought I had a good move in this position. I'm confused as to what I thought it was, but just going to have to keep playing moves. Is his queen trapped? Not quite. Oh, this is going badly. I think Danny might win this one. I think Danny might win this one. He's even pulled a little bit ahead on the clock. Equal material, but yeah, it was a very good decision of Danny's to hold on to this bishop on this long diagonal. Ever since I gave up my dark squared bishop, I've been in some problems. But that's alright. There are some... there are some tricks that I can get in here. Yeah, I'm happy to repeat moves if you are, Danny. Yeah, unsurprisingly, Danny was not. 3-1 down. It's okay, he's going rook h2. I'm going to block with knight h5. Play this all as quickly as I can. I'm just going for maximum irritation here. Sorry about that, Danny. Oh, whoops, you can take on f4. Oh, lol. Oh dear. I just said lol out loud. Oops. Oh, why can't I take the queen on f4? Is that not good for me? Look, and I know I've gone a couple of pawns up into this position, and oh no, it's mate. Oh, even without the queens on the board. Yeah, I should have double checked. Basically, because he'd been desperately trying to keep the queens on, I thought that he couldn't take my queen. But funny thing, I'm going to go 1f4 because that's the way to drown my sorrows. That's one way to drown my sorrows. Right, okay, so he's played a Fom Gambit here. Oh dear, excuse me. It's quite a dangerous line, giving up a pawn for a very dangerous attack. I just need to hold off his early onslaught, and then I have this big extra central pawn in the middle of the board that hopefully will do good things for me. But we shall see. Oh, can I go e4 here? Oh, let's just go queen d3. It's too late in the day. It is what? It's approaching 10:30 in the evening, and it's too late for me to analyse variations. So I'm just going to have to play quickly and rely on something not to blunder. Moves like a3 stopping him playing knight b4. If he can't play any attacking moves, then I can't blunder my queen. That is the principle that we're going to be working with. It's not foolproof by any means. Oh, e3 would be a good example. That loses the queen. So bishop takes e3, queen takes e3, rook e8. So I am spotting ways to blunder my queen all over the place. So I will go g3 instead. And I'm quite happy instead for him to win my bishop on h4. Actually, if he goes bishop back, let's just go g4. This is hack attack. Why am I not pushing the g pawn? That's what I should be doing. And here we go. Here we go with some fun. Takes on g5, takes there. Something, castles. That sounds like analysis, but it's really not. Okay, let's just go bishop g3 like a sensible person. His point is if queen takes d4, he's going to take on f3, and then bad thing, and then bishop takes g3 check. So I'm not going to fall for that, but I didn't want to let him have that pawn. This game is veering out of my control. I don't particularly want this game to go to game 7. Yeah, my opponent has won a pawn, but I might be able to win it back with some clever rook move here. Rook h5. Oh, then knight e5. Whoops. He's going to play knight e5, rook e3, knight takes f3. Maybe I can salvage a draw. Ooh, Danny's been very, very tricky in this game. Very, very tricky. Okay, so rook takes h6. His point is knight g4. Do I have a point against that? Probably not. Oh wow! My rook is actually trapped here. Oh no. Well, there's nothing to do but allow it. There's nothing to do but allow it at all. And it does look, unless I'm able to pull off some kind of ridiculous swindle here, which we're not going to rule out, it does look like we're going to be going into a final game decider. And again, if I take on c7, his cunning point is that he's got rook c8. He's trying all of the cheapos. But come on, Danny, let's see your technique. Daniel Winch's legendary technique with a minute left on the clock. Come on, let's see it. Chop chop. Surely rook d8, Danny. Don't let me go knight c7. Yeah, come on. Get the f-pawn rolling. Come on. He's forced my knight away, so it's all very sensible so far. Probably knight e3, bishop d3. Just whatever at this stage. And he's swapped up a pair of pieces, that's all very sensible. He's going to go rook e3, I'm almost certain at some moment. Yeah, there we see it. Just going. But you know, I'm confident that I can move at least as fast as Danny. I'm not confident that my position is going to survive that at all. Okay, time to resign. He's getting a new queen. Okay, it's a decider. So, one final game to take all of the glory. The World Series of Chess on Hack Attack, as Daniel is typing in chat. So, let's go with this final game. I'm going to have to come up with a new strategy to not blunder pieces. How's that going to work? Good to... Good to know. Danny's just telling me that he's not watching. Okay, he's trying to mind game me now in chat. And here we go. Danny has the slight advantage of the white pieces in this final game. I have the slight advantage of the French defence. So, you know, all things relatively even. And this time I remember that knight f6 is a legitimate move against this kind of way of playing. Is he going to play an early h4 variation? No, he's going to play a kind of mainline classical. And let's see if we can remember some theory here. Oh wait, I needed to learn some theory here. Oh well, that's alright, we can just play moves. Play moves and everything will be okay. If knight c4, he's going to take and play knight d4, and then things. Can I go knight a5 at some moment? Maybe. I want to go knight a5 and knight c4. Force him to play b3. Let's just go bishop d7 and keep some options open. I don't know, are you feeling the tension in this final game? I'm feeling a little bit of tension. Slightly surprised that he took on c6 so early on there, but normally White's plan is to push as quickly as possible on the king side with something like f5, but I've cunningly left my king in the centre in order to be able to deal with that. He's threatening takes and knight g5. He's threatening takes and knight g5. a4 takes knight g5, king d7. Rook f1, rook f8, knight takes h7. That looks all good for white. What am I going to do here? Can I take it off and play g6? No, that looks depressing. Okay, take it off. I can play knight c4 at some moment. So it's not completely clear to me he's going to recapture. He probably will play bishop takes f5 here. But I'm pleased that he's thinking about this decision. And he's gone for it with e6. Takes on f5, takes on f7, king takes f7. Knight e5 check, king f6. Queen h6 check, takes oh, if I go there, he's going there. Wow, he's got some good ideas here. I'm going to have to go f6. Oh dear. There were some really crazy lines of my king getting mated on e5 there. But this broadcast isn't called Getting Hacked, it's called Hack Attack. I still have hopes I can go a4 and b3. So let's do that. Maybe castles was a better move, but you know. e7 could be quite clever by my opponent here. Oh, come on. The queens are being swapped. Just because my opponent thinks he has an advantage. Suddenly it's let's swap the queens off. No, okay, I've been known to do that once or twice myself. So we will let it go. If I get a chance to play king e7, I might be holding it together. So I still wonder if he's got e7 ideas himself. Okay, I am somewhat down on the clock in this game. So definitely needing to speed up. Let's go b3. It's not part of the killing mating attack that I originally had it planned to be. But it's still part of playing moves and playing moves at some kind of rate of speed. And then need to go f5 here and try and take on e6. If I can win this e6 pawn, then things are under control again. What is it? Equal material. Wow, this is coming right the way down to the wire. I'm struggling for a plan. But oh, he's got knight d6. Oh, and rook and knight e8 check if he spots it is game over. Oh, well played, Danny. Well played. Yeah. They were fun, Danny. That's the main thing. They might be, yeah. Yeah. Danny, the master of cheat tricks. I think that's unfair. I think Danny played a really nice game there. Actually, just very, very quickly, what we're going to do. Cheers. We're very quickly going to take a look at that final game. There's just one moment I want to highlight. So let's analyse that. Gonna skim through this game, flip the board, because it's, you know, drifting its way to 11 o'clock. Skimming through this game. French defence, all of these kind of things happen. Probably around about this point I should have been playing g6. Oops, not g5. How do I cancel that? Let's just go back a move. g6, stop him playing f5, and then I can get on with all my kind of fun stuff, maybe knight a5 to c4. Instead I kind of went for this very quick attack with a5 and regretted it. And then e6 was a fantastic move by Danny. It's the move of the game. And I'm not going to tell you that this move wins if I take on f5, but here's one sample variation that I calculated that took me a lot of time on the clock. Was me grabbing the bishop, him taking here, then knight e5 check. And if I go king g7 here, sorry, he's going queen g5 check. And if I go king f6, he has queen h6 check, king takes e5, rook h e1. And my king is mated in the centre of the board. Oops, not queen takes e3, rook takes e3. And that's mate. So that was a kind of variation which made me panic after e6 and say, yeah, maybe I'm not going to take the bishop. But then, obviously I just played f6 and I was a little bit worse. And eventually Danny got me with the sucker punch with this trick right at the end of the game. I was probably doing okay around about here. If I go rook b8 in this final position. Okay, I suspect Danny's better. He can go b5 and stuff. But, you know, it's essentially all still to play for. No, he's definitely better in this position. But it's an impressive comeback from Danny, coming from 3-1 behind to win 4-3. So, thanks very much for the game. I'm sure that will be a highlights package at some point over on Chess.com's YouTube channel, so go and check that out. Don't forget you can also check out highlights from all of the previous shows over on YouTube. Next week we'll be back to the usual slot of Monday evening. So I will see you then. I am going to go and get some sleep because I am tired right now. Thank you all for watching and see you soon. Good night.